first time, welcome for the ones that are regulars.
Sorry.
What we'll do is before I introduce the lady, I will do a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'll give you not expect fire exercises, alarms, just fun. So everyone goes into the real deal. Follow either myself or Katie with your hand, or Joe after her. We will actually escort you out, open the building, and we'll gather around on the grass and fire is over there. We'll take another exit. You guys will be good. Because of the earthquake, we already know we'll take the table and we'll nicely together underneath that. Toilets are here to my the left-hand side, across the door that you came into. You're figuring it out. We are serving you refreshments, so we are serving you something to drink and to eat, including alcoholic beverages. Please drink responsibly, because I know for sure that your family and your friends will do this. And so you reminding me that. Innovation, full business unit of Agri University, and what we do is we bring people together, and that's here. So we call it connecting people, and we hope last and get your attention. Then people actually start to talk. But we know for sure that when you start to talk, you're like, are you interested in? I am interested in that as well. And then at that moment in time, people are like, should we do this together? And that's when collaboration starts. And we are convinced that only if there is a collaboration, then innovation takes place. So that's what we are all about. Without any further ado, I want to introduce Blake from the Rabobank. Blake and myself got to know each other, I think, when we were looking at the Sustainable Agricultural Finance Initiative that was put together by NPI and the 5 large banks here in New Zealand, and yeah, we got to work together. So Blake has been with the Rabobank for quite some time in different sustainability roles. So I'll give the figure to Blake and so
thank you very much. Yeah, so in terms of my role, my title was Head of Sustainable Business Development for Rabobank. What does that mean? Essentially, my role is to focus on the clients and sector and help them to understand the various challenges, some of which I'll explain here, that are coming towards them. So essentially enable them to support them to position themselves to best succeed into a future environment that could potentially look quite different than it does. In terms of the presentation today, look, I'm not an expert on sustainable finance per se. I've got a slide in here about what sustainable finance is. I know a little bit about it, but that's not my expertise. What I want to talk about is more generally how sustainability is going to impact the financial sector, particularly the agricultural financial sector. And from that, I'll draw insights from what I'm seeing globally within Rabobank and how that's sort of flowing down in New Zealand. So I'm going to sort of start quite sort of high level, just to provide a little bit of context before I start to bring it down into, as I said, what does that actually mean. So if we look at some of the big changes that are happening, first within agriculture, I strongly believe agriculture is going through a transformational period. That's not new. I actually started 10 years ago looking at the impact of freshwater regulation. So potentially that journey started 10 years ago. It's not going to stop within the next 12 months or 5 years. It's an ongoing process, but I think we're very much looking at that period of change. Often we hear it's uncertain. We don't know what it looks like. And I think that's true if we take a short-term horizon on it. It's not clear what particular rules and regulations look like in 12 months' time, depending on what region change of government before or certain things might change. But I think the direction of travel is reasonably clear. So it's almost clear of looking 10 years into the future and potentially money in the future. And that direction of travel is food production systems increasingly need to account for environmental and social impact that they're having, externalities that are coming internalised into the system. And how does that happen? That's happening through whether that's regulation imposing extra costs or restrictions on productions or increasing complexity, whether that's market requirements, prove or demonstrate certain behaviours, whether it's banks asking certain requirements. I think it's important to remember that food production systems have, they do have negative impacts, whether that's around leaching of nitrogen or runoff, whether it's methane emissions. They have positive impacts on systems, whether that's around carbon sequestration, whether around biodiversity. I think equally we'll start to see those positive effects recognised and rewarded. We have that now with carbon. It just has to be a very small, narrow box in which you actually get that recognition. But again, direction of travel over time, I expect that to expand and make that easier and more options to get recognised for carbon sequestration. Equally, people with biodiversity, probably struggle to articulate to a client how they can get tangible value out of biodiversity that we've got on the farm now. I know there's a couple of platforms out there, but it's not quite spread. But again, in 5 or 10 years' time, I expect there'll be more options for that. I don't know what they look like, I don't know how that plays out, but the direction of travel, I think, is a greater opportunities. So that's sort of the ag side of it. Now we look at the finance side of it, because I think there's change happening in finance as well, or flows of capital at least. And that change is very much the financial markets, capital markets are looking at sustainability and ESG and increasingly factoring that into how they do business. I think CEO of BlackRock, each year he writes an open letter to CEOs saying these are the premiums I see in the investment space. The last few years, his rhetoric and language around the impact of ESG and climate has been very strong. So it's really fundamentally have impact on flows of capital. Now, BlackRock's, they had their own challenges in this space and pushed back against it. And, the last 12 months we might have even seen some of that dial back a bit. But I think it's a bit like agriculture. I think the direction of travel is reasonably clear. Increasing these capital markets will be looking at the flow of capital and wanting to understand what's the impact associated with that capital. It might not be linear, it might not be all in one direction at the time to get some flows. So what is that change? Well, essentially we're seeing capital directed away from sectors or activities within sectors that are considered non-sustainable into sectors or activities within sectors that are considered sustainable. So, something like energy is probably the most obvious one. Fossil fuel bad, renewable energy good, increasing flows of capital in that direction. Much harder in agriculture, much harder to define what is good and bad. And then how do you actually put metrics around it to demonstrate it and prove this? So I think I just wanted to sort of bring this point up because this is for me where the two of them come together. And often we hear about the market wants this stuff around sustainability. The market's demanding greater action on climate change, greater accountability around sustainability. And then pretty quickly you get pushed back and go, well, that's not true. I just don't think consumers do want it. And they're not paying for it, and et cetera, et cetera. And I think there's elements of that are true. But I think sometimes what gets overlooked is that's not necessarily the sole motivation for these major food companies. And here's some of the top 10 food companies in the world. Just I know they're much too small to see, but this shows the range of brands that influence that a small number of food companies actually have pretty good supply. So all these companies have some zero target, I think, but some emissions reduction by 2030. And at least I believe one of the big priorities, not the sole driver, but a big priority of their policies is to access capital and appease the sources of capital. Many of these are listed companies, and they're worried about share price. They're worried if they don't make these commitments, they're not seeing these risks and taking actions that will flow through the impact not on their business and ultimately their share price. These organisations and corporates and the executives and boards, they didn't suddenly all just turn woke overnight and suddenly want to go out and save the world. These are based on hard-nosed business decisions that they've decided to set emissions reduction targets and go to the market and tell them there's a reason why they're doing it. Not just because they deal with that major costs and resource involved with this. But I'll touch on what is sustainable finance, probably just as much as anything to differentiate what I want to talk about. But when we talk about sustainable finance, that is a very specific area of finance where we are linking that capital directly to some kind of either investment or activity that will have a tangible and measurable positive impact on the environment or sustainability. So you've got your green loans or sustainable facilities. So these ones that are direct capital directly linked to a particular sustainability investment, like solar, for example. Then you've got your sustainability linked facilities. So these are where the entire lending of the organisation is linked to some KPIs demonstrating their organisation or the activities of their organisation is having some kind of positive impact. And hitting those KPIs means some form of margin discount that is applied to the client that goes with their business. They absolutely have a role in sort of seeing growth in that space, but there are very strict criteria around the magnitude of positive impact they have, how you demonstrate it, you've got assurance and verification that goes with it. Do see some of this in agriculture, but there's also challenges around how do you apply that in a cost-effective way, which doesn't just simply impose more costs and burden on farms that are already able to supply a lot of this information in other ways. One of the questions increasingly we're starting to get as a bank is, why are you asking me questions about why do you need to know my greenhouse gas numbers? Providing I'm meeting what the regulators say what I'm meeting, why on earth do you as a bank give capital? Why are you interested in what I'm doing? And ultimately, my response is that increasingly, if we finance it, if we're providing capital to someone to do an activity, we are responsible or being held accountable for the activities associated with that capital. So essentially, from the view of our stakeholders, which I'll run through soon, if we finance it, we do it. If we're financing someone that's treating their animals poorly, we're treating animals poorly. We're financing someone that has a large greenhouse gas footprint, we have a large greenhouse gas footprint. And increasingly, our stakeholders are holding us to account for it. Who are these stakeholders that I talk about? I think there's three main ones. First one, and potentially the most important, is our regulator. So, just like everyone else, we have regulators that have a pretty tight eye on what we do and how we operate. Increasingly, sustainability has come into the remit and the story of it. We're a Dutch bank, so we come under the European Banking Authority. And actually, for a number of years now, they've been asking us in this space, what are you doing? What is your strategy around sustainability? And we've been able to provide them a nice sort of shiny thing, going, look, here's our strategy around sustainability. Don't worry, we've got this a couple of years ago, that was quite all right. That's not all right anymore. They've moved beyond that, going, actually, how are you embedding this in business plans like you're doing? How does this show up in KPIs? How does this show up in how to assess credit and risk? How are the directors in New Zealand using that? Let's get into that level of detail that they're wanting to know. Some of it push back on, we simply don't have that level of data and a wish to provide to you just yet. So our focus or role or action is to get that data, which is the space we're in now, fast forward a couple of years, and they'll absolutely expect us to be able to demonstrate that. Here in New Zealand, financial disclosure requirements require us and other financial institutions and large institutions to this year, actually, this is the first year we've had mandatory report on what does our climate risk disclosure look like. So the capital that we're lending out to, how is that exposed to climate risk, and effectively what are we doing about it. Again, this is all very transparent public information that our directors have to sign off on, and are actually accountable for as well. So as you can imagine, the engagement we've had from our directors over the last couple of years has increased significantly, but ultimately it's their responsibility to sign. we've also got our investors. So those, when we attract capital, we've got to get capital from something, and one of those investors are increasingly wanting to know where is my money going and what impact is that having, and helping to demonstrate that. Not all investors. In my view, it's probably not even the strongest driver at the moment, but I think that's one that's going to grow over time. Increasingly, we are getting these kind of questions, probably particularly from institutionalised investors. But a really interesting one that we don't feel here in New Zealand. New Zealand business doesn't feel it, but the mothership in the Netherlands certainly does. And that's from NGOs, and that's from the public. So in the Netherlands, we finance 80% of the dairy sector. So probably a little bit like Fonterra does here, we have a lot of focus around the anti-farming lobby. So looking for a corporate to attack. That's rather big, and they've been hitting us pretty hard for the last couple of years. So we've got Greenpeace, Extinction Rebellion. They're pretty open about the fact that during the court case, take us to the Dutch court, asking us to commit to absolute emissions reductions targets, like they did with Shell a number of years ago in one. And they also have some pretty so a pretty large process against us. An interesting story I heard last year, we had a staff member go over here to do us a comment, 6 months comment, and I was talking to Tessa when she got back, and asking her how it was, and she said, one thing that she found really interesting was when she got there, she had to do the induction. And one of the tips she got is don't really know here of this out in public in case you get accosted for working for us and the impact that we're having. Where that flows through tangible business risk for our organisation is we find it hard to get people to work for us. Because of that reputation, people don't want to work for us. So we've got to pay contractors that cost a lot more and don't have the same engagement that workers have. So this, and again, key point, these are just tangible business risks that these are having on our business that at an exec level, at a direct level, start to pay attention to. And regardless of your particular views on sustainability, you want to address that business risk, which is very much what they're doing. So hopefully a couple of videos will play. Don't worry, I don't understand what they're saying either. They are in Dutch, but hopefully the visuals of it will is kind of the key takeaway. But these are the ads that they have running from our supplement.
Rabobank. Goed voor jou en goed voor de wereld. Trotse sponsor van festivals en natuurverwoesting. Trotse sponsor van stadions en megastallen. Trotse sponsor van musea en het kappen van regenwouden. Trotse sponsor van hockey en de stikstofcrisis.
De eisen van de Rabobank dat zij stoppen met het verwoesten van onze natuur en starten met het vergoeden van alle schade die zij op dit moment hebben veroorzaakt. We staan vandaag hier met honderden activisten van zowel Greenpeace als Extinction Rebellion voor het hoofdkantoor van de Rabobank in Utrecht, waar we de ingang en de zijingangen blokkeren. Wij doen dat hier in Utrecht, maar ook in verschillende andere steden. De Rabobank doet zich groen voor, maar investeert ondertussen al tientallen jaren miljarden euro's in mensenrechtenschennis, in natuurverwoesting, in dierenleed en dat moet stoppen. De Rabobank staat echt aan de basis van de stikstofcrisis. Wij draaien voor de kosten op, maar ondertussen steekt de Rabobank alle winsten daarvan in de zak. Wij blijven demonstreren tegen de Rabobank totdat onze eisen worden ingewilligd.
But I mean, as I said, this plays through the business risk for us to work to react. This is why one of the reasons why I'd rather New Zealand Bank has signed up to the Net Zero Banking Alliance, which is very much around making commitments around reducing emissions that we finance and putting some structure and transparency around that. So in the same way, and similar methods, very much direct, result of that. That one. Yeah, so yeah, we have to set targets around reducing our emissions. Setting targets is the easy bit. It's very much how do we do it. But this slide, I know it's very busy, but I'll talk you through it. But the purpose of it is to highlight the way greenhouse gas emissions are calculated. It shows that in Rabobank's footprint and other banks do the same, the disproportionate amount of emissions that come from agriculture. It shows the risk of exposure that have in this space. So in the Netherlands, we're a full service bank, like other New Zealand banks here, so we finance housing, business, and corporates. Outside the Netherlands, we only bank through the supply chain. So New Zealand business, we don't do supply chain. So here is just shows the proportion of the Rabobank portfolio in terms of assets. And the first bit is sort of all the Dutch stuff, all about the housing, business, everything else. This is their global food and agricultural business, and this is bits and pieces that we do. So that's the asset base. That's the middle one, the income we generate off those same respective assets. And then the third one is the associated emissions that come from those particular some assets. So when you look at, looking at the balance sheet and you go, gee, we need to reduce emissions, where are those reduced emissions coming from? You go, gee, agriculture's got a pretty big disproportionate part of the assets. And yet we can absolutely get into the measuring of it, like sequestration and all that come under that. Not the point of this one is just demonstrating some of those effects and then start to look at these figures and we're going to make decisions around where capital flows. Increasingly, potentially the risk will start to play into it. Now, for us, I'm not going to go into Rabobank mission and all that, but basically, long story short, we don't just want, we want to grow exposure to agriculture globally. So we can't go anywhere else, not looking to go anywhere else. In fact, we want to extend into more financing of food production systems. So it's not a case of, well, we help agriculture and something else. We've got to figure out how to actually deal with this. Where it could be, though, potentially as you start to look at more of a region and sector basis, what regions and sectors are we globally that have similar kind of patterns like that. That started. This is sort of where I was getting to in terms of where is agri finance going. This is a slide that the Chief Sustainability Officer put up when I was in the Chief about 12 months ago. And the Chief talked about the fundamental shift in how finance is done. Traditionally, it's been risk taking forward. So, what is the risk associated with capital that we're lending out? And what is the return on that risk? And then within that paradigm, make decisions like this is certain level of risk, compared to accept the return. So the Chief talked about this fundamental shift away from just risk and reward to risk and reward impact. So yeah, the risk and reward is still here, but what is the impact associated with that lending that you're putting out there? And you don't say this isn't just the risk associated with if you've got a client that doesn't meet this defaulting. That's still very much part of it, but that just comes on the risk element. This is directly what is that impact that lending is having, whether it's around greenhouse gas, whether it's around making sure whether it's potential around the social. This is very much against the direction of travel. It's pretty good challenges we've got to actually go from that one to the other one. When we talk about impact, what impact on what? How do you define it? How do you measure it? But these are all the pieces of work that's increasingly starting to happen. Again, very much at a global level, but equally how do we translate that down to the So I don't expect any fundamental change in the 12 months or 2 years, but direction of travel. Increasingly, it wouldn't be a big jump for Rabobank to say that all those sort of regional businesses, yep, we want this amount of lending, it's this risk profile, and we've got to reduce these kind of parameters to reduce the impact. So that's kind of that paradigm shift that we're talking about. Well, on this one, but what? There's also a big part of that will be obviously data and how you prove that. and this is I don't pay any attention to the timelines, but we very much see a journey to here as well. At the moment, it's something around how to start to collect this information on our clients. Again, this isn't the bank competency for us. At our bank, we've got to collect financial information on the clients. With systems and models to run to understand the financial implications, risks, and impacts, but not around sustainability information. So kind of at that point now, it's just what can we get and just get it in. And then you kind of got to go, well, what does quality look like? How do you do that efficiently? And then you've got to go, well, actually, how do we start improving that? How do we actually trust that the data that we've got is what we've got in there? So there's kind of this whole journey that we've got to go through at that same time. And as I said, I'm not 100% sure, but no, potentially these kind of areas at the bottom of emissions, carbon, social, and water diversity, soil health, potentially we might have to look at. It's just reinforcing the nature of very much that care of the rank. Now around how we start to get metrics around nature. One of this part of nature is a whole lot of base to objectively assess nature effects across the regions and the economic sectors globally. Very much again, this roughly. Too much into strategy, but I just want to follow. Often people see banks, their role as finance, so we believe that they've got to follow us with the finance and the cost of their finance, and that is absolutely a key important lever that we've got, but probably not firstly we're going to pull, because we probably have to do more work in that data and information stuff before we do too far down that route to make sure we're pulling the right lever and something like that. What we can also do is we can work with their clients. So there's that personal relationships. How do we ensure we're having the right conversations with their clients, just to ensure they're factoring this into decision making that they're doing. And then there's sort of a whole system. How do we areas we ourselves aren't going to do that, but how do we work with other players and have some kind of role or influence? Methane JV, one of the gaps which we've got to need more technology, more innovation and solutions. So that's what we're investing on that, because we can't expect the farmers to be using emissions that simply don't get rules. That would be an example of systems. And then you do go to optimizing the role, which is traditional thing back to. And it's a very big lever that we do more play, but it's not the first level we might play. So I'm not sure how we use time, but that's the presentation. We're having thoughts, comments, questions.
Thank you so much. Well, I thought it was very brave as well that you to look at all the opinions that people have on the financing of our food system. Any questions out the audience? Margaret.
Without actually saying it, but New Zealand has signed up to the international agreements that have been reached, and there's another one coming up. I'm not sure whether it's 2026 or 2028. But to what extent are you able to convince us that in what you're doing, you are adhering to the agreements, the international agreements on sustainability and biodiversity in our books? Convincing us. And convincing the farmers. How do the farmers react when you into the regulations that they have to adhere to?
It's like everything's spectrum. There's not one answer, but there's absolutely an improvement offer. Got it, and don't understand why, and there's possibly some other points, and there's others that are probably also frustrated with it, but again, they probably those questions and don't address it. There's some risk, and I'm just going to get on into it. In terms of how the reading stroke as rubber bank, we're doing the right thing. That's a lot of the work that's happening now. So again, we've signed up to a number of these agreements and stuff and commitment what we're going to do. To be honest, there's a lot of work to do around how to actually demonstrate that. So we're working through now. How do we understand the emissions footprint of our clients, for example? So how we do it currently is what we call top-down. So we'll simply we understand how much. So New Zealand dairy, for example, we understand how much milk we finance in New Zealand. We've got a general standard figure on the average emissions per milk solid, and then do some calculations about that's what it looks like. And that's not a quadrant, that's an average. So we've got to move to actually how do we get the actual farming data of what our farmers are.
And are the Europeans prepared to accept it?
Yeah, all with that. But again, there's a lot of that because we are so far from perfection on all of this stuff. I think this is where, in my view, looking through roadmap, New Zealand's actually in a relatively strong position when I look at my colleagues in other countries. It's at first it's simply measuring where we're at to get at that baseline. So, global go buses, buses and other banks and other regions. Okay, let's get some farm information data. Achievements. That's not that easy. Then you go away, at least Ontario, they do it, they supply and go, Jackson, that's quite a big chunk of that book. So there's one avenue, and we've got a number of beef and lamb farmers that have been through industry supply tools and so there's other bits and pieces and you start getting that picture. My Australian colleagues, they've gone anything. So they've worked at Melbourne University, they've developed a carbon calculator. They were running about 60 workshops last year where they put the clients through a 2-day workshop to calculate numbers, which all the purposes seem to go really well. But they turn around this year and they go, can't take these same clients for another 2 days of workshop to see where they're at this year. 1,000 we got through kind of early blocks, much harder to convince anyone else. Then we get over to America, my friend Christian. He's struggling to convince some of them clients even changing before he gets on farm to tell them to the greenhouse gas number. And you know, what's tangible benefit for New Zealand farmers of that? Again, I think over time, and don't forget, but you know, potentially the government group goes when you're looking at with capital flows globally, at least we have confidence in New Zealand that you know we know what we're talking about, we know the number of impact plans, it's kind of within the right approach. To answer the question.
I'm not getting you convinced me either.
Any more questions?
So when we look at the Netherlands, right, like it's one of the leading agricultural hubs in the world. Like it's very innovative and they do a lot of practices like vertical farming. And I think for the landmass they have, they do a lot of food production for all of Europe. So what more can be done realistically to, you know?
Very good question. So a couple of stats around that. So Netherlands is the second largest exporter of food in the world. And the area size basically target. So outstanding innovation. There's all kinds of arguments that they push it too hard, and is that the consequences you're dealing with now? Long answer short, I'm not sure how you get that next wave of innovation. That's very much what the farming sector is saying. They've said, you know, we've always innovated out of our way, out of challenges. Just give us the room to keep doing that and we'll find solutions. Policymakers are saying that's well and good, but we've got EU requirements that simply say we're not meeting what we have to do, and that's where they've imposed some pretty strict, draconian requirements around how they're essentially going to remove farming in whole areas of New Zealand. That's obviously massive social unrest and farmers pushing back. Similar things are happening in other regions. And then you sort of get into a wider discussion around food security versus meeting climate and sustainability goals and teaching that brings development into it. You get unrest, you get that things kind of all layers.
That's quite interesting. The graphs you had on the global footprint, and obviously agriculture making up a big sector of it, but all those other lines, like the orange ones, which is, I guess, things like housing developments or businesses, how on earth are you assessing their greenhouse gas footprint? Because it looks like it's actually, not too hard, but many of those other businesses that you're lending into must be actually quite hard to measure as well.
Well, again, it will just be sort of a very high level, top down kind of average emission associated with the average household in the Netherlands, how many households we finance in the Netherlands, how many businesses. So again, I wouldn't get too hung up to the decimal place on those numbers. But yeah, that is one of the fundamental challenges we've got. How do you go from a very high level general number? Even what do you measure? How do you mention those don't have a sequestration element? I'm not sure you need farming sector does. But hang on, only got half the picture. That's the picture.
Have you modelled it with like the greenhouse gas thing on farms? Is intensification the way to go and creating more efficient animals would be increased capital on farm and high debt loading versus say a pasture raised animal where it's lower costs and they just be more efficient while they don't spend money. Where's Rabobank getting in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, so generally our position is around efficiency. So for us, the only way we're going to hit our goals around how do we increase more food security, how do we produce more food whilst reducing the impact that comes down to efficiency. And doing some really interesting stuff around actually some of the most intensive ones, potentially the most efficient. This is, I think, where we've got the nature element that is also coming. So once you overlay that, if you're purely looking for greenhouse gas schemes, the feed or something like that, the potential is they have more solutions in the future in terms of the feed that look good. But if we're also having a report on nature, and we'll go well holistically, we're going to set ourselves in trouble over the year. So there's a few things we're not at a point where we're making hard decisions going, right, well, it's not feed box or it's just passive based systems, like I say, it's more just understanding where we're at and what's the fundamental challenge.
Where are those type of decisions going to be being made? Is it 2028? They start coming in?
Yeah, I mean, probably happening faster than I reckon, like I said, within 5 years, it starts to have much more tangible impact. And it's not going to be suddenly we're here and then you get over there, it's going to be just creep in, you know what I mean? It's going to be more of an evolution and revolution. So I think 5 years quite differently.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering about because there's a lot of discussion around GMOs in New Zealand currently with possibly regulation. Is that sort of at the forefront with Rabobank and their ideas around farming and agriculture, and how's that been discussed?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're very much going to need some innovation and solutions here, right? And kind of think everything's got to be on the table. That doesn't mean go there or do that, but at least it's got to be a discussion around it. GMO, GE, my understanding is that also around that has been very reviewed since early 2000s.
It was released today by the EPA. Definition of GMOs being defined and changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything further around?
Basically, they're going to put some definition of what is a GMO in New Zealand and allow for the technologies genetics to not be GMO.
Okay, so I'll differentiate between genetics and GMO. Okay.
Just fresh off the press.
Okay, there you go. And then don't get wrong, it's complexity. You've got a brand built on certain attributes, but understand how to undermine that. Do the consumers still, what value do they put on that? And is there a hierarchy of values that used to be a big deal, actually honest? Massively, willing to, I don't know, but at least it's a discussion around it. That competitors, again, this will be a competitive advantage or disadvantage in the space, right? Who can crack it, who can demonstrate it? We've won us we're doing well, we're kind of in a good position at the moment. But if our competitors really focus on it and have a system where it makes it easier to do solutions for methane, or feed damage, or something like that. We could easily start to see ourselves still in this space.
Question in the back.
For your environmental commitments, is there anyone who actually enforces them within the company or outside the company?
So how they enforce it, so one's the, like I say, the regulator, how we're reporting through there. And they are literally a license to operate, not social license to operate, they're a license to operate. I think the NGOs, they're a pretty strong one. I didn't put it up here, but there's a number of kind of benchmarking organisations out there that have different criteria, and they'll rank us around where they see us on a continuum. And if a particular NGO decides not, well, it's still what they do. And again, that obviously this is impact for us. And yet we have a return.
I can take one more question and then I have some more drinks and meals so that we can discuss. Vector.
I don't understand where, as a bank you want sustainability. And I think as a bank you want to grow, and grow will definitely make larger carbon footprints and emissions, and which made me think that it's a bit of a greenwashing. So where does this, I want to know your opinion, where do you think this Rabobank values are standing at?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great and key question. I deal with it every day. I suppose, and yeah, we want to reduce the impact that production systems have on the world. Rabobank started 125 years ago financing and improving farmers to reduce food during famine. So where we started from was food security. So we realised the value of food, and actually, a world without food is a world with massive problem. So we see them both at the same time. It's a wicked problem. I don't have the answer for you. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I believe in the values of Rabobank and the intention and the climate and sustainability space. And I would argue, if we have those and extend our exposure to more producers around the world and support maybe it's not necessarily bad. I think the emission might go up as well. But fundamentally, we've got those two challenges: food security and reducing impact that production systems have. So I don't think it's necessarily an easy or right answer there.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated. I'll have a couple of last slides to let you know that we are at the board event. We will have Ellen talk about resilience and looking at food security. We're going to mention that is important as well. And then we have the future of regenerative agriculture. And we have a speaker from McCain's Foods talking about something else. March. Thank you so much. If you like us, be social and like us on social media. And please feel free to have another drink and another bite. But I already promised you that I will remind you, we are serving you with alcohol beverages if you wish. Please drink responsibly towards your family, your partner, your friends, one you want to see. Thank you so much. Thank you.